Those of you that are old enough to remember that little tune that I was playing at the beginning here might remember this band called Redbone. Redbone. It's a Native American group, about 4 brothers that were Native Americans here in North America, formed this band in 1969, and they were in Los Angeles. And I just wanted you to kind of remember that. It was kind of an earworm, you know. It gets in your head. And it was a sitar, like similar to the electric sitar that I was playing. Anyway, I wanted to mention that to you, and then we can get started with another topic here. Ready? Okay, today we're going to talk about earworms. Well, maybe not. Maybe I just put that title up there to grab eyeballs. Today, I want to mention, this is the second day of Hanukkah. It's 8 days that we light candles sometimes. Some of us do, some of us don't. But Yahusha, when he was in the temple area one Hanukkah, it was the Feast of Dedication. That's what Hanukkah means, or rededication. It's remembering the Maccabees, about 186, 164 BCE, somewhere in there. And if they had not overtaken the Greeks, Antiochus Epiphanes and his hordes, then it would have been really hard for Torah to survive there in that area, because the Greeks were pretty severe. They were doing some horrible things. If you read the books of First Maccabees and Second Maccabees, it's history, okay? That's what it is. And I wanted to acknowledge Hanukkah. You can look it up yourself, and you don't need me to tell you about it, really. You can just look on the internet. And there's a lot of man-made traditions, of course, too. But this is just a week that we remember it, and we observe it with, all of Yisrael, to see it happening, every year, to remember it, because it was basically established as a national holiday. It's not a Torah observance, but Yahusha, notice this, Yahusha was not critical of that. If you look up what they call John, Yehuchanan, chapter 10, if you look at that chapter, you see that it was Hanukkah. It was winter time, and it was Hanukkah. The rededication observance was going on. And I wanted you to notice that he wasn't hateful about it. He didn't jump up and go, "Hey, what are you doing? This isn't anything that I commanded you to do." He wasn't severe. He was kind and merciful. His loving kindness is everlasting. Why can't we be like that? It isn't like they were doing something pagan, So it was a celebration of a victory. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like our country here in the United States. We have a commemoration of the ending of the Civil War, and it's called Thanksgiving Day. It's about the Civil War. It's not about pilgrims. They made it that way in the school, in the education system, but the Thanksgiving holiday is to give thanks. And it's not, you don't have to do it. I give thanks every day. I thank Yahuah for food, for feeding us, for healing us, and for guarding us. There's spiritual attacks going on all around us. They want to kill us, the spiritual realm. There's a lot of enemies out there, and a lot of people don't have any protection. And that's one thing I wanted to remember in this video, is Yahusha's kindness. He wasn't severe with anyone and angry and critical. What he was critical about was the Pharisees not acknowledging that the time of their visitation had happened, and they didn't recognize the creator of the universe standing in their midst. Yeah, with all those prophecies. The prophets, they just ignored, the signs. And the other thing I wanted to do today is coming right up. Oh, look, there's another kind of worm. Not an earworm, but wormwood. That's something we discover in Scripture. It's a concept. It's bitterness towards obedience is what it is. And what they do is they alter the words of Yahuah. And Yahuah says, well, you're living by wormwood now, are you? You won't obey me, so you just make stuff up and do it your way. Well, they changed his name, first of all. And we're going to touch on that just briefly. The common excuse of Christian teachers have for not using the proper designation for the written name of Yahuah is by deflecting it with devices and obfuscations, and they admit it in their prefaces. Like saying name means authority. We've all heard that. This Jesuit equivocation technique works on most people who are untaught. But consider this. When Stephen stood before the Sanhedrin in Acts chapter 7, something he said aloud caused them to shut up their ears and cry, blasphemy. He had said the name aloud, and they had withheld the key of knowledge, that's the name, and rejected the chief cornerstone, the name of Yahuah. How do we know that the name is the chief cornerstone? How do we know that it's the key of knowledge? The only way you know who you're worshiping is by knowing his name. It's not about authority. They'd rejected the chief cornerstone, the name of Yahuah. The stone the builders rejected at Psalm 118, verse 26, was being cried aloud by the crowds as Yahusha rode into the city of Jerusalem. And the Pharisees told him to rebuke his Talmudim, that's his students. The crowds were saying, Baruk Haba BaShem Yahuah. Now let that be an earworm. It's not wormwood. Then Yahusha told them, I say to you that if these shall be silent, the stones would cry out. The crowds were quoting a text describing the builders that rejected his name. And at Matthew 23, verse 38 through 39, Yahusha emphasized it when he said, see, your house is left to you laid waste. For I say to you, from now on you shall by no means see me, until you say, Baruk Haba BaShem Yahuah. That means blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahuah. Psalm 118:26. We're saying it, so pay attention. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next exciting video.